Canada, Australia, and the UK just officially recognized Palestine as a state. This is a huge diplomatic win for Palestine, and it puts pressure on other countries to do the same. Canada was the first to announce it back in March. They also announced a new aid package for Palestinians. But it's not just Canada. Australia and the UK are also recognizing Palestine as a state. The UK's doing it virtually, and this is all happening at the same time as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict rages. Now, these countries are recognizing the state of Palestine. Technically, they're just saying we recognize your statehood, but they're not giving any money. But still, this is a symbolic gesture that has real weight because it puts pressure on other countries to follow suit. Now, the US has come out and said that they don't recognize the state of Palestine. They've always said that they support Israel's right to exist as a state, which is why they've given them billions of dollars in aid. But this is about more than just money. It's about diplomatic recognition. If you want to get international support for your country, then you have to play by the rules. You have to treat other countries like they're equals. And if you don't, then you're going to be left out in the cold. Canada, Australia, and the UK officially recognize Palestine as a state. They're the first 3 countries to do so in nearly 14 years. This is a huge deal. Let me explain why. Canada's Mark Carney, Australia's Anthony Albanese, and the UK's Keir Starmer all made announcements today that they would officially recognize Palestine as a state. This is a big deal because these are 3 countries with significant global influence who have decided to break from the long-standing policy of not recognizing Palestine as a state in order to try and put pressure on Israel to come to the negotiating table. This has been a very eventful week in the Middle East. On Sunday, Israel and Hamas agreed to a 72-hour ceasefire, but it's looking increasingly likely that it will be broken. And there have been calls from world leaders for a more long-term ceasefire. Now, the UK, Canada, and Australia say that they recognize the state of Palestine alongside Israel. But it's important to note that they stopped short of saying that they would move their embassy from Tel Aviv to Ramallah in the West Bank, which is where the Palestinian Authority is based. So while this is a symbolic diplomatic recognition, it does not come with any concrete promises of future support. That said, the UK and Australia have both said that they will push for a 2-state solution to the Israeli occupation. Now, this is the first time in 14 years that a Western country has recognized Palestine. The last time it happened was back in 2009 when Sweden recognized the state of Palestine. The UK's new policy is especially interesting because it represents a pretty significant shift from the previous government. Boris Johnson's government had already recognized Israeli settlements in the West Bank as illegal under international law, but they stopped short of recognizing Palestine as a state. And it's believed that this is one of the reasons why the current government is now facing some significant backlash from pro-Israel groups within the UK. Canada has also faced criticism for its decision. The Canadian Jewish Congress issued a statement saying that they were, quote, shocked and appalled by the decision. But Prime Minister Mark Carney has stood by his announcement, saying that it was done in, quote, a spirit of hope for a just and peaceful resolution. Australia's decision to recognize Palestine has also been criticized by some Jewish leaders. But Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has defended his decision too, saying that it's, quote, the right thing to do. Now there's been some speculation that other countries may follow suit and recognize Palestine in the near future. And the fact that these 3 countries all did it in the same day suggests that there may be some truth to that. Now it's worth noting that recognizing Palestine as a state does not automatically grant them full membership in the UN or any other international organization. That requires a vote by the existing members, and there is no guarantee that such a vote would go in favor of Palestine. Nonetheless, the mere recognition of Palestine as a state is a huge symbolic victory, and it puts pressure on other countries to do the same. It also sends a message to Israel that the international community is growing tired of their occupation of Palestinian territory. The most important thing to take away from this is that the international community is growing increasingly frustrated with Israel's unwillingness to come to the negotiating table, and they're taking steps to try and force a resolution to this conflict. Now, this is a developing story, and we will continue to follow it closely. If you want to better understand global politics, stay tuned for more insights.